Hello, I'm Mr. Jacobson, and every once in a while you come across a watch that is interesting, but not just interesting, particularly interesting. A watch that has something very special, something that other watches just simply don't have. A watch that you're just so fascinated and obsessed by that you just can't let it go until you own one. Welcome to the Pablo Profundo. Right, I do have a question or two. Who is Pablo? I don't know. It doesn't say on their website. Where are Pablo watches made? I don't know, it doesn't say on their website. How can you get into contact with them? I don't know, it doesn't say on their website. Is Pablo just made up? I don't know, it doesn't say on the website. However, what you can read on their website, thepablowatches.com, among other things, are the technical or technical specifications of their watches. And there are two. The VB-1 model, limited to 200 pieces, and the VB-11, limited to 200 pieces. For this video, I procured the Pablo Profundo VB. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Anyway, let's take a look at the box and what's inside it. And boy is this a box. It's made out of wood, and it has some really nice design to it. The logo looks great. The font is very interesting and it contrasts well against the black box. But let's get back to the actual unboxing. At first you're greeted by this card from Gnome Watches where the watch was actually bought, with some strap thickness indicators. You then have a plastic card which contains the official Pablo operating instructions. And then you have another plastic card which is the official Pablo warranty. The cards fit very snugly in the box. I'm just going to remove the watch to show you that beneath it you have a little plastic baggie with some extra links. But let's get rid of the box and take a look at the watch. And as you can see, it's a very striking Submariner Homage. It has a nice weight to it in the hand, which in my view is a mark of quality. Look at that. Very, very pretty. Here's a close-up shot of the case and the dial and the hands. Note that there is no date function. On the side here you can see the lug holes and the riveted bracelet. And here you can see the crown and the crown guards. So this is more of a 60s homage than a 50s. And I like that. Here we have the back and you can see the number 057, which is the number of this particular watch in the limited run of 200. Lovely. Here's a closer look at the bracelet. And as you can see, it's riveted and seems quite sturdy. It's also nicely finished and also has a button clasp. And that's very nice too. We will, however, need to revisit this bracelet a little later, for a variety of reasons. Let's take a closer look at the watch again. The important specs are as follows. It's an automatic caliber Swiss ETA 2824-2 movement that beats at about 28,800 bph. The diameter is 40 millimeters, 49 millimeters lug to lug, and a thickness of 12.75 millimeters. There is also super luminova on the hands with an old radium effect. Furthermore, you get sapphire glass, lug holes, and a screw down crown. And if you want to scramble your brains underwater, it can go down to 200 meters, or 660 feet. You therefore need a 120 click unidirectional bezel with an aluminum insert. As you can see here, the crown is screw down and the movement hacks, which to me anyway is very important. The crown is easy to screw out and screw in. Overall, it all feels very, very, very well made. The dial is pitch black and the hands have this wonderful vintage tint to them. Also note the red triangle. It all breathes vintage. So if you want something that looks more modern, this isn't the watch for you. Now let's take a look at what it looks like on my wrist. My wrist, as you all know, is 19 centimeters or 7.48 inches or 0.000944 furlongs. As you can see, the bracelet wobbles a whole lot. It's too big. And we're gonna get back to the bracelet in a little while. But for now, this is just what it looks like. And, as you can see, technically, it passes the shirt cuff test with a little help. It's 12.75 millimeters thick, so there is some thickness to it, but it doesn't feel all that bulky. And to me, 40 millimeters is a good size. It's not too big, it's not too small. And this watch wears a little smaller than 40 millimeters. It really does feel like a 38 or a 39. But then again, that's just my personal opinion. Yep, it wobbles. It wobbles a lot. This Pablo Profundo. God damn it! So you have a watch that looks great, feels great, is solidly built, comes with a range of features and specifications, so all should be well. The problem is that this watch has a couple of issues, chief of which is the bracelet. Now, this bracelet is supposed to have a micro adjustment mechanism, but I couldn't get it to work. As soon as you use it, the clasp won't close properly, and the button won't work. I then tried to shorten the bracelet by removing some links, but after using 2 screwdrivers and a lot of time and a lot of frustration, I just couldn't get the rivets off. So I solved the problem by removing the bracelet and replacing it with a NATO strap in black and light blue. I don't like bracelets anyway, and I don't usually wear bracelets on watches, so to me it doesn't matter. But if you are hell-bent on a bracelet, you're going to feel a little frustrated when it comes to this watch. But this watch looks even better, to me anyway, with a NATO strap on. And for some reason it passes the shirt cuff test, with flying colors this time. Which is just fantastic. This is a watch that you can really dress up or dress down. Wear it with leather, NATO, or the bracelet, it will look excellent. I did say though that there was at least one more issue, and I think that there is. And one of those least one more issues is the price. Here you can see the pricing on Pablo's official webpage, thepablowatches.com. Each piece costs $620. Now that is a lot of money for a homage, and that is even more money for a microbrand like this that has a more, should we say, less established webpage. But the problem doesn't really stop there either. Take a look at this. Here you have the same 2 watches on Gnomon watches. And as you can see, these cost $520. I don't get it. Why would anyone buy it from thepablowatches.com? Hey, I just have too many $100 bills in my pocket. Said nobody, ever. Not even Rockefeller. And yet we haven't really touched on what is considered to be the biggest issue and problem of them all. The name Pablo. Who would ever start a watch company and name it Pablo? If I had to choose a name, I'd just call it a Kenneth watch. But even though the logo looks good and the font is very Art Deco and beautiful, people just have a problem with having names on the watch's dial, or on the watch in general. The watch is stunning, and it is quality. But $520 or even $620 if you buy it in the wrong place, that's a lot of scratch for a Pablo. For that money, You can go Seiko, or even Squale if you find one secondhand. There are several options in that price range, and if you want a name, you could also go Christopher Ward. And this is where I have to come clean. I didn't pay $620 or $520 for this watch. I paid $280 for it, secondhand, and yes, to me, it's a pretty good buy for a Pablo. But would I pay full price? $520? $620? I don't know. I really don't know. Horology is a very expensive hobby, and if you're a collector or an obsessive like myself, you're going to spend a lot of money on watches. And when you spend your money, you want to know what you're spending it on. And in this case, you have a company that has a slightly low-tier website, a Twitter account with virtually no followers, an Instagram account with some followers, but that's about it. There's no info, there's no history, there's just no information. This watch is a mystery. So if you pay for a watch like this, you have to know something. You have to know something that other people just don't know. You're a little bit crazy, and you're a little bit on the edge. So, I have finally found out why you should or shouldn't get this watch. This, my friends, is a cult watch. And I have started it. I have started the Cult of Pablo. The rules are simple. If you own a Pablo watch, you are automatically a member. I am number 57, and I appoint myself Chief Inquisitor of this cult. The Chief Inquisitor of the Cult of Pablo is the YouTuber with a Pablo with the most subscribers and influence. So, anyone can claim this title, and if you have a Pablo, and you have more subscribers than me, which you probably do, you can be the leader. Buying microbrands is a bit of a crazy thing, and it always becomes a cult thing, but I think that this has to be the cultiest of the cult watches, because it's crazy. It has a very poor name on a watch, but it looks great, and it's irresistible. I find myself looking at this watch, and also at the box, and just bask in its magnificence, because it's very cool. But the problem is that it is simply too expensive, and I cannot recommend you getting one, and that, perhaps, is the best reason to get one, because nobody has a Pablo, but you can. At that next cocktail party when everyone is standing with their Seikos and Squales, you can have a Pablo, and then they will look at you, and they will look at your Pablo watch, and they will say, "You have a Pablo." And then you will say, "Yes, I do. I am part of the Cult of Pablo." And then they will say, "Can I buy it off you?" And you'll say, "No, you cannot, because this is my Pablo." And you're all too late, because there aren't any left. So go ahead, wear your Christopher Wards and your Steinhardts, or whatever. I have my Pablo, and I'm going to stick to him. Because Pablo and I, we share a bond, and the same bond that we share with everyone else who has one of these beautiful watches. So go out there, find one secondhand, get it at half price. You won't regret it. I'm Mr. Jacobson. Have a nice day. This was the Pablo Profundo Let's Dance.